Early Church Fathers, July 31st, Irenaeus against heresies, Book 4, chapters 30 to 32. Taking from Egypt and building God's house. Those who criticize God for commanding the Israelites to take gold and garments from the Egyptians simply don't understand how God works. They accuse him of injustice, not realizing this was a foreshadowing of our own exodus, the way God brings us out from the Gentiles into faith. Just as the Hebrews left Egypt with the spoils of their oppressors, so we, when we come to Christ, carry with us possessions and advantages gained during our time outside the faith. Some come with much, some with little. But who among us lives entirely on goods untouched by unrighteousness? Where did we get our homes, our clothes, the tools we use, or even the food we eat? Are they not the fruit of systems that are often unjust? Some were inherited from those who acquired them dishonestly. Some were gained while we were still walking in darkness. Even now in Christ, we still live in a world where buying and selling aims at personal gain. Who trades without seeking profit? Who buys without hoping for a discount? Yet no one accuses these of theft. Consider those believers who serve in the palace. They use vessels and goods that belong to Caesar. And those who have little are supported by others, according to grace. Now compare this with Israel. The Egyptians owed them not just property, but their lives. Joseph's wisdom spared Egypt from famine. His family saved their kingdom. Yet they returned that kindness with cruel slavery. And now some complain that the Israelites acted unjustly because they took a few items of silver and gold from their captors. Meanwhile, these same critics fill their pockets with coins bearing Caesar's face, living off the work of others while claiming moral superiority. Righteous wages for the righteous poor. Israel had labored in slavery for generations. As Scripture says, the Egyptians made their lives bitter with hard labor, with mortar and bricks, and all kinds of service in the fields. They oppressed them with cruel force, Exodus 1:14. They built fortified cities with their bare hands and gave their strength for another's gain. When they finally left, it was not with plunder, but with small compensation. They had earned far more than what they carried. It was not theft, it was partial payment. Imagine a free man kidnapped and made to serve for years, building wealth for his master. If when he escapes, he carries away a fraction of what he built, would that be injustice? Would you accuse him of greed, or would you accuse the one who enslaved him? This is the same judgment we owe to Israel. They took only a portion of what they rightfully deserved. But their critics, those who point the finger, are far worse. They pocket gold stamped with another's mark, boast in their wisdom, and yet rely on the very systems they condemn. They condemn Israel for taking unstamped silver, while they hide in their belts coined gold engraved with the emperor's seal. So I ask, who acted more justly? Israel, who took goods from those who owed them everything? Or we, who receive what belongs to others without any such obligation? And yet the world through them is kept in peace. Their governments guard the roads we walk and the ships we sail. So even our freedom to move comes from their labor. Shall we condemn Israel and excuse ourselves? You hypocrite, first remove the beam from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Matthew 7:5. The tabernacle of God, built with Gentile goods. But if anyone says this is unfair, let him first abandon every possession he gained from the world. Let him strip himself naked, leave his home, and live among the mountains like wild beasts. Then he may speak. But if he enjoys the things of this world, its houses, clothes, and food, and yet dares to condemn Israel for receiving what God gave them, he accuses himself. The Lord said, "Judge not, that you be not judged, for with the judgment you pronounce you will be judged." Matthew 7:1-2. This is not a command to overlook evil, but a warning not to condemn the way God dispenses justice. God knows how to turn all things to good, and he judged that we would use these things wisely. That's why he tells us, "Whoever has 2 coats, let him share with him who has none, and whoever has food, let him do likewise." Luke 3:11. I was hungry, and you gave me food, thirsty, and you gave me drink, naked, and you clothed me. Matthew 25:35-36. When you give alms, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Matthew 6:3. These acts prove our righteousness. We redeem the goods we once gained wrongly by offering them to the Lord's service. Yes, they came to us from foreign hands, but not because the world doesn't belong to God. Rather, like Israel, we've received them from those who do not know Him. And with these goods, we now build the true tabernacle of God, not a tent of skins, but lives made holy. As the Lord said, "Make friends for yourselves by means of unrighteous wealth, so that when it fails, they may welcome you into eternal dwellings." Luke 16:9. The Exodus was our exodus first. These things were not accidents. God did it all by design. Israel's exodus and the spoiling of Egypt were a foreshadowing of us, those who would one day serve God by means of what came from others. Their exodus from Egypt was a symbol of our deliverance from the nations. They were led to a promised land by Moses. But we are led by Jesus, the Son of God, to a better inheritance, not in this world, but in the world to come. And if you pay attention to the words of the prophets about the last days, or to what John saw in the Revelation, you'll see this clearly. The same plagues that fell on Egypt will one day fall on the whole world. What was once local will become global. The old judgment was a type. The final one will be complete. Augustine of Hippo, The Confessions, Book 11, Chapter 15, Sections 18 to 19. The illusion of long time. We often say that time is long or short, but what do we mean by that? We only say this about the past or the future. 100 years ago, we call that a long time past. 100 years from now, we call that a long time ahead. But 10 days ago, that seems short. And 10 days from now, also short. But is it right to call something long or short if it doesn't even exist? The past is no longer with us. The future hasn't arrived. So maybe we shouldn't say, "It is long," but rather, "It has been long for the past, and it will be long for the future." Yet even this seems flimsy. Lord, my light, isn't this another case where your truth mocks our empty words? When we say a past time was it long after it had already gone by? No, it wasn't anything then. If it was ever long, it had to be while it was still present. Once it passed, it ceased to be, and with it, any length it had. So we shouldn't even say that past time was long. We should say that present time was long, because only while it was happening could it have had any length at all. As soon as it slipped away, it lost everything, even its duration. Nothing lasts, not even now. Let's press this further. Can the present itself be long? It's the only time we can actually perceive and measure, but can it stretch? Take 100 years. Sounds like a long time, right? But look closely. Can 100 years ever be truly present? If we're in the first year, that's the only one that's present. The next 99 haven't happened yet. If we're in the second year, the first is already past, and 98 remain ahead. At any point in those 100 years, only the year you're living in could be called present. The others are either gone or still on their way. But wait, can even that current year be considered present as a whole? It's made up of 12 months. If we're in January, the rest are future. If we're in July, then some are past and some still ahead. So the year isn't wholly present. Can we try the month itself? Still no. Each month breaks down into days. Only one day is truly current. The rest are past or future. And even that day, it slips away as we live it. Try to hold on to the moment. It's already gone. Summa Theologica, on the state of the first man, question 100. Would children have been born righteous in the state of innocence? Objections. It doesn't seem likely that children would have been born righteous if Adam had never sinned. For one, righteousness is a virtue. Virtues must be earned through discipline and choice, and newborns can't do either. Infants don't have developed reason or free will, so how could they possess something as serious as moral uprightness? Also, if this kind of righteousness had been natural to humanity, it would seem impossible to lose it without losing our very humanity. But that's exactly what happened at the fall. So clearly, righteousness wasn't inborn. Finally, even the angels weren't all confirmed in grace when they were created. Why would God give something more stable to humans at birth than he gave to his celestial servants? Responsio. But here's the truth. If humanity had never fallen, every child would have been born in original righteousness, and not just temporarily, but confirmed in it. This righteousness wasn't something Adam achieved through effort. It was a gift from God, a divine alignment. Adam was created not only with a body and soul, but with an inner harmony. a soul governed by God, reason governing the passions, and the body submitted to both. Had sin never entered the world, this order would have continued uninterrupted. Children would have inherited not only biological life, but spiritual wholeness. That doesn't mean they wouldn't need to grow or learn, but their hearts would have already been inclined toward what is good and ordered. And more than that, they would have been born confirmed in righteousness. This doesn't mean they couldn't choose, but that their wills, like well-tuned instruments, would naturally move toward the good. Grace would have sustained their innocence, and virtue would have matured in a stable soil of divine favor. There would have been no inner war, no flesh lusting against spirit, no selfish impulses at odds with reason, just a quiet strength, just a will in harmony with its creator. Quick summa. If humanity had never sinned, every child would have been born righteous and confirmed in grace, secure in God's favor, without inward rebellion. A picture from the garden. Picture a garden, untouched, walled in by divine protection. Every flower blooms on time. Every fruit grows in season. No thorns, no rot, no predators. In the center, a sapling pushes through the soil. It doesn't strain against drought or disease. The sun warms it, the rain nourishes it. It was planted in peace, and it grows in peace. That's what childhood would have been in Eden. In our world, every soul enters the world with inherited imbalance, a crooked trunk, a darkened sky, a hunger in the soil. But in that original state, children would have grown like saplings in a perfect garden. Upright from the start, their roots nourished by grace, their hearts already turned toward the light.